Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and now here I am with the retro Armageddon review that I was talking about in my last video. And so for this review, this is going to be a review for Armageddon 2005. Um, so this show, not really a lot of people really talk about this show. I mean, I really haven't heard like much people really talking about this show. Like, it's not really mentioned among a lot of the pay-per-views that were really happening during the time. Yeah, so this pay-per-view really doesn't get talked about a whole lot. And after watching it, I gotta say, it's not really hard to see why. I mean, this really just this really was not a very good show at all. Just it was overall pretty average. Like it just like not really a whole lot was really on this show. I mean, it really was just like very substandard and average. And yeah, and this is kind of like a image of like what SmackDown really was during this time because yeah, this was of course a SmackDown pay per view. And yeah, and I've talked before about like how in like 2004 and 2005 how SmackDown was just really bad those 2 years. And yeah, this pay-per-view is another example of that. Yeah, this really was not a very good show. I mean, there really just like wasn't really a whole lot to really offer on this show. I mean, a lot of the matches just seemed like very they range from like substandard to just plain bad. Like, yeah, there really just like was not really much to offer on the show really at all. I mean, you did have like a couple of like matches that actually were like pretty good, and a few matches that were like a solid. But yeah, those the matches that were solid, they just like there still really was not a whole lot of memorable little things about them. Like those matches really were not like a memorable at all. Like those matches were like very forgettable. So yeah, so this show just really didn't leave like a very big impact. I mean, it does have like one great match on the show. Yeah, and like I said, there were like a couple of other good matches, but yeah, I just feel that like even the matches that were good, I feel that they really did leave a lot to be desired. Yeah, especially like with the main event in particular. Like the main event on the show, I felt like it really did leave a lot to be desired. Tired. So yeah, so I think it's safe to say that this show, while it's not really terrible, it still really is not very good, and it really did kind of underdeliver. So, yeah. So I just really don't know what else to really just say. I mean, yeah, the show just, yeah, it's really not good, and to be honest, it's really not worth watching. So, yeah, so if you haven't seen the show before, I mean, there is one match on here that you should definitely check out, but everything else just, yeah, it's not really worth watching. So, yeah. So I guess I'll just talk a little bit about the matches on the show. All right. So yeah, so the show opened up with JBL versus Matt Hardy. So yeah, so it was kind of odd to see JBL actually opening a pay per view. I mean, I said before like how JBL was really terrible, and he was like how one of the reasons SmackDown was so bad during this time. But yeah, still he was like one of SmackDown's like big stars during this time. So it was just kind of odd to see him actually opening up the show. But yeah, this match was just like pretty bad. I mean, yeah, this match was just like awful, really. I mean, what were they doing with Matt Hardy during this time? I mean, yeah, this was still like when Matt Hardy was like relatively new to SmackDown during this time, during this run of SmackDown for him. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it just seemed like they were just really trying to just like drive Matt Hardy right down to the ground during this time. I mean, this is what they do with Matt Hardy on the show. I mean, I mean, yeah, this just looked like a really bad for Matt Hardy. I mean, yeah, and in this match, like JBL pretty much like dominated the whole thing. Like Matt Hardy got in like little to no offense during this match. So yeah, so WWE really just made Matt Hardy look really bad here. Yeah, and this match only lasted like what, like 6 minutes. So yeah, so it wasn't even that long of a match, and yeah, like I said, it was really just a JBL beating Matt Hardy up for basically the entire thing. Yeah. And Matt Hardy like tried to come back, but JBL really just uh countered Matt Hardy and just took over on offense again. Yeah. And then this match just ended with JBL throwing Matt Hardy into the exposed to steel of one of the turnbuckles, and then uh, gave Matt Hardy a clothesline from hell, and gave Matt Hardy another clothesline from hell, and then pinned him. So yeah, so JBL got the win. But yeah, this match was just like so freaking bad. Like seriously, like did Matt Hardy do something wrong during this time? Is that why WWE made him look so terrible here? So yeah, so I don't know what the deal was with WWE doing this to Matt Hardy, but yeah, this match really was just like really, really bad and just a shame. So yeah, so I would give this probably like a I guess I would give that like 1 star. Yeah. Then next up, then you had Eminem versus the Mexicools, which was Psychosis and Super Crazy. Yeah, and this was a this was a decent tag team match, but there really wasn't anything memorable about it at all. I mean, yeah, you did have like solid back and forth tag team action during this match. Sure, this was like something where a lot of people were really thinking that Eminem really was just going to maybe just very dominant over the Mexicools, and it was probably just going to be like a 5 minute match, and Eminem wins easily. But yeah, it was kind of like a back and forth match. But yeah, just seeing like these two teams, this was just like kind of an example of how the tag division on SmackDown just really seemed to kind of like be downgraded during this time. When you compare it to like some of the tag teams that were on SmackDown a few years prior, like 2002 and 2003, then you see like these two teams. Yeah, this is just like kind of an example of like how the tag team division seemed to really be downgraded during this time. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, like it was like just a back and forth between two teams. I honestly really don't remember or like any like big spots during this match. It was just kind of back and forth action, and then eventually Eminem I think like hit a snapshot on Super Crazy, I believe it was, and then Eminem got the win. So yeah, so a solid match, but just nothing really memorable about it. So yeah, so I would give this probably like a 2.5 stars. But then, yeah, then after this, then we got the true highlight of the show. Next up, then we had Booker T versus Chris Benoit, and this was still during that best of seven series of matches to determine the undisputed United States champion. Yeah, when I reviewed Survivor Series 2005 last year, like I said, like how their match on that show was the first match of the series, yeah, and this was the fourth match they had in the series, yeah. At this point, Booker T was up 3 matches to none. So yeah, so this was really like a must-win situation for Chris Benoit here. Yeah, and once again, like I was talking about with the Survivor Series 2005 match, this really was just a great match right here. Like, yeah, this really was just like very awesome here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you like 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 I said, like when they did this best of seven series, like it really was just really kind of just going back to like when they had like the best of seven series matches in WCW, yeah, and those were great matches, and yeah, and they really once again like gave us great matches in this series as well. Now this really was just like so awesome. Like you had some like good back and forth action between the teams. Like, well, not the teams, but between Benoit and Booker T. Yeah, yeah. This was like, of course, like during the time Charmel was managing Booker T. Yeah, there was like a couple of points in the match where like Charmel was like getting him tried to get involved in the match. Like there was one point where Charmel like distracted the referee, and then Booker T then hit a low blow on Chris Benoit, and then hit a scissors kick on him, and Booker T like used that to win like one of the previous matches in the series. Yeah, so Booker T tried it again here, but this time Chris Benoit survived. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, and then like at one point, Chris Benoit then like had Booker T in the crossface, but like the referee like I think was either like distracted or like knocked out or something, and Booker T did tap, but the referee didn't see it. Yeah. Then at one point, as a Chris Benoit then like had Booker T in the sharpshooter as the referee was down. Then a Charmel then like tried to hit Chris Benoit with a broom, which she did, but Chris Benoit like just wasn't phased by the broom shot at all. Yeah, yeah. Then like it showed how like Booker T ended up surviving Chris Benoit's suicidal headbutt. Yeah, then it showed like at one point like Booker T rolled through the crossface but knocked the referee out. Yeah, this is like when what I was just talking about with Chris Benoit. Yeah. Then as Chris Benoit was distracted, then Booker T then tried to like set Chris Benoit up for the bookend, but then Chris Benoit then reversed it into a DDT and then got Booker T in the crossface once again, and then Booker T then tapped out. So Chris Benoit won the match here, and this kept the best of seven series still going. yeah, and this series would like continue on for like about the next month, and eventually, Booker T would end up winning this series and becoming United States champion. Yeah, but yeah, this was still like once again a great match right here, and yeah, this was definitely the best match of the night. So yeah, so I would give this 4 stars. Yeah, great match right here. Yeah, yeah, then next up, then the next match was just a handicap match with Bobby Lashley versus William Regal and Paul Burchill. And yeah, and this was really nothing. I mean, like, why did they do this with Lashley on the pay per view? I mean, Lashley was like becoming like a big star during this time on SmackDown. Like, just a month before Survivor Series, Bobby Lashley was in the Survivor Series elimination match with for Team SmackDown, but they do this with him the following month. So yeah, like, what was WWE thinking with this? yeah, but this match was bad too. Like, yeah, this match only lasted like 3 minutes. I don't remember anything from it, but yeah, Bobby Lashley ended up getting the win after 3 minutes. So, yeah, this match was just like a total waste for Bobby Lashley and just a total waste of time. So yeah, so this match, I would give this probably like I don't know, half a star. Yeah, yeah, and then then next up, well, before I do talk about the next match, after the Lashley versus Regal Burchill match. Then we had like this segment on the show where like it showed Josh Matthews inside of the Friendly Tap Bar with Tim White. Yeah, the show was in Providence, and of course like the Friendly Tap was a bar just like right outside of Providence that they would like always visit whenever they came to Providence. So it showed like Josh Matthews inside the Friendly Tap with Tim White, and as Tim White was really just a talking to Josh Matthews. Well, but Josh Matthews was trying to interview Tim White because, yeah, bringing up the fact that like Tim White's referee career had ended inside a Hell in a Cell match. As he was trying to ask him about that, it just showed how Tim White was just like battling it like a serious case of depression and stuff, and it just showed like how he was just like in such like a very bad state of depression. Yeah. Then it eventually like had this whole thing where Tim White like grabbed a shotgun and then off camera ended up like shooting himself. So yeah, so this really just like started that whole thing that like would like go on to WWE.com for the next few months, where it showed like throughout the every single week like Tim White would just like do all these things to really just try to like take his own life, try to end it all. Yeah. So yeah, so yeah, but yeah, these were just like stupid. Like this like went on for like 3 or 4 months on WWE.com. Like you had like these small videos that would pop up every week, just showing Tim White like doing a bunch of things as Josh Matthews was trying to interview him, and Tim White just did all these like dumb things to try to end his life. Yeah, you had like things like Tim White like shooting himself in the head, slitting his wrists, electrocuting himself in a bathtub, uh, uh, ingesting rat poison, hanging himself, suffocating himself, drowning his head in a fish tank, thrusting himself in the blades of a steel fan, uh, hiring a hitman to shoot him in the head. Just all these like dumb things that went on for like the next like 3 or 4 months on WWE.com. So yeah, these were just stupid. I mean, I'll put like a link of a playlist down in the description just showing like a lot of the things that Tim White did do to himself during that time. But yeah, these were just like really stupid. Like I remember WWE even like included this in the top 50 OMG moments DVD. So yeah, so I'm sure like a lot of you probably do know these whole situations from that DVD. But yeah, these were just like so stupid. But yeah, this night really did kick off like what would go on for the next 3 or 4 months with Tim White. Yeah, but anyway, okay, moving on. Yeah. Then next up, then we had the Cruiserweight Championship on the line. It was Juventud Guerrera defending against Kid Kash. So yeah, so I'm sure that a lot of people like totally forgot like either of these guys were even in the WWE. Even I don't even really remember these guys actually being in the company during this time. Like yeah, Juventud Guerrero was like the third member of the Mexicools with Psychosis and Super Crazy, but yeah, he didn't even stick around for the full run of the Mexicools. Like it eventually just became Psychosis and Super Crazy. So yeah, so Juventud Guerrera's run in the WWE at the time was like really short. And like I said, even Kid Kash, like back during the time, I don't even remember him actually being in the WWE. Like I do like I did like remember it later on, like when he like was like in competed at the Royal Rumble the following month and stuff like that. So I did like later remember it, but at the time I didn't even remember Kid Kash even being in the company. No. And this match, this was a solid cruiserweight match once again, but still, just like not really anything memorable about it. Like it was just like it was solid back and forth action between the two of them. But yeah, not really anything memorable happened. So yeah, this was like once again just like kind of an example of like how the cruiserweight division at the time really seemed to kind of really be downgraded. I mean, when you go back to like the previous few years before this, and you just saw the cruiserweight talent on SmackDown during the time, and then you see like it right here, you really just kind of see like how it is like kind of like going to a decline during this time. But yeah, this still was like one of the better matches of the night. Yeah, it was like just solid back and forth action between the two of them. I really don't remember like any big spots once again. Yeah, but yeah, it just like did go back and forth. It lasted about like 10 minutes, and then as uh Juventud like tried to go for a front flip leg drop on Kid Kash. Kid Kash ended up countering it with a dead level, and then Kid Kash then pinned Juventud Guerrera, and Kid Kash won the Cruiserweight title. So yeah, so yeah, so it was like a solid back and forth match, but yeah, once again, just not really anything too memorable happened in the match, and yeah, the match overall is still like really forgettable. So yeah. So I would give this match probably I guess I'll go 3 stars for the match. Yeah. Yeah. Then next up, then we had Batista and Rey Mysterio, who were the WWE Tag Team Champions at the time, and Batista was also World Heavyweight Champion during this time, versus Kane and the Big Show, who were the World Tag Team Champions for Raw at the time. So yeah, so this was a champions versus champions match, but no titles on the line. Yeah. So yeah, so this really was just like when the whole Raw versus SmackDown rivalry like really was like coming to an end. Like we like had what happened at Survivor Series, but yeah, this was really like where it like really was like ending. Yeah, and overall, this was like once again this was solid, but yeah, not really like too anything too spectacular for the match. I mean, like, Batista was the World Heavyweight Champion at the time. Like, why isn't he defending the World Heavyweight title on the show? I really do feel that that was, like, another problem with the show. Like, the Cruiserweight title really was, like, the only title, well, that was on the line on this show. So, yeah, so I do think that they did make a mistake by having Batista, like, do this instead of defending the World Heavyweight title. Yeah. Yeah, and the whole, yeah. No, yeah, this was overall like it was solid enough. Like they did make a both teams did look pretty good in the match. Like there wasn't like something where like with Kane and Big Show being like the two like huge guys really just looking so dominant over Batista and Rey Mysterio, and also with Batista and Rey Mysterio actually being SmackDown guys and Big Show and Kane being Raw guys, they didn't just like make a Batista and Rey Mysterio look so dominant since they were SmackDown, which was the show that was being represented on this pay per view. Yeah, so this overall was a pretty solid match. Like both teams, like just like went back and forth once again, and yeah, and there were like tests of strength through the entire match here. Yeah, and like I said, both teams did look pretty good in the match. Yeah, there was like a couple of points in the match where like Big Show like ended up like pulling Rey Mysterio out of the ring and going after Batista. Then yeah, and then the teams really just like went back and forth. And then at one point, like as Batista and Big Show were fighting on the outside of the ring, that they eventually then fell over the broadcast table. Rey Mysterio then hit a 619 on Kane, and then Rey Mysterio then like tried to go for a West Coast pop, but Kane ended up catching Mysterio. And then ended up chokeslamming Rey Mysterio and getting the win. So yeah, so Kane and Big Show won the match here. Yeah. So yeah, so I guess I am glad that they at least like did have the Raw team go over the SmackDown team for this match. Yeah, I did kind of like that they didn't just like have the SmackDown guys go over on the SmackDown pay per view. I'm glad that they did decide to go down the route of like having the Raw guys win this match here. So yeah, so this match was decent, but yeah, like I said, just it was overall like pretty short. It was only like 8 minutes, and yeah, still like not a whole lot of memorable stuff about the match. But yeah, both teams did overall look pretty good in the match. Like there wasn't like one team that looked dominant over the other one. So yeah, so I guess I would give this match about like I guess I'll go 2.5 stars on it. Yeah, and then we got the main event. The Undertaker versus Randy Orton in a Hell in a Cell match. So, yeah, once again, like I said in my Survivor Series 2007 review, sort of a Hell in a Cell filled year. Like, I've already talked about a few Hell in a Cell matches this year, and now I'm talking about another one now with this one. Yeah. So, yeah, so this really was just like really to conclude the Undertaker Randy Orton feud. Like they'd been feuding like pretty much the entire year. Of course, like the match at WrestleMania, the match at SummerSlam. Then they were feuding some more over the next few months. Of course, like they had the stuff with the handicap casket match at No Mercy. Then Undertaker returning at Survivor Series, and then it all finally culminates inside Hell in a Cell. Yeah. So yeah, so before I actually do talk about the match, I want to talk a little bit about the Undertaker Randy Orton feud really quick. Yeah, because yeah, as far as this feud goes, like there are people that have said that how this is like one of the best feuds of all time, and this is like the feud that made Randy Orton a big star and stuff like that. Like, no, it's not. Like for one, like this really was not is not one of the best feuds at all. It really wasn't even like the best feud of 2005. Like it was awesome at first. Like the WrestleMania match really was just like really awesome. The SummerSlam match was really good, but yeah, this feud over time it got ruined. Like just there was a lot of stuff about it that just ended up like just like ruining it over time. Like, of course, like with Randy Orton's father, Cowboy Bob Orton, like him actually getting involved in this feud and actually like wrestling like It was just stupid. Like, Randy Orton's long retired, out of shape father is actually getting involved with this feud and actually wrestling matches. Like, it was just dumb. Like, his involvement in the match at WrestleMania 21 was just fine, but yeah, him actually like getting involved with this in this feud with Randy Orton, like, it was just so dumb and unnecessary. Like, we didn't need that. Yeah. And yeah, and plus, like, well, something else that also ruined it, like, was just like it got so stupid. Like the stuff with like Randy Orton, like setting the casket on fire at No Mercy. It really was just like a copying what was already done at Royal Rumble 1998. Yeah, yeah. Plus, yeah, and you just like had like all this dumb supernatural stuff going on. Like there was that one time when like the Undertaker like possessed Josh Matthews. Yeah, and it was just really dumb, and like you had Randy Orton like playing mind games with Randy Orton, like you hear like heard Undertaker's voice playing over like the sound system, and yeah, and you had like Undertaker being seen in the mirror with Randy Orton, and yeah, just like all this supernatural stuff. It was just like so dumb, like it seemed like something from the mid '90s. So yeah, so this feud really just got ruined later on with stuff like this. Yeah, and even like with this Hell in a Cell match. This really was like not that good of a Hell in a Cell, to be honest. I mean, it was like above average. Like it was still good, but it wasn't on the level of the WrestleMania or SummerSlam matches. Like this match was just like it seemed like very underwhelming, and like I was saying before, this match really just seemed to really leave a lot to be desired. I mean, it did make sense to really have like Undertaker and Randy Orton be in a Hell in a Cell match. It it really like you really did truly believe that they hated each other and everything that happened over the year. Like it made sense to like have this be a Hell in a Cell match, but just by Hell in a Cell standards, this match really just left a lot to be desired. And yeah, and both of these guys really did have better feuds than with each other. So yeah, so this feud really isn't as great as some people really do make it out to be. Yeah. But yeah, this Hell in a Cell match, like I said, by Hell in a Cell standards, it really wasn't that great, and it really did leave a lot to be desired. I mean, the match really didn't have very many memorable spots in it. Like, it really was just kind of like Undertaker, like, beating Randy Orton down for, like, a good chunk of the first half of the match. Yeah. Just, like, throwing Randy Orton into, like, the cell and, eventually busting Randy Orton open after hitting him with a steel chair and stuff like that. It really was just like Undertaker beating Randy Orton down for the first half. Then eventually Randy Orton did make a comeback. Like Cowboy Bob Orton was on the outside of the cell, and like he at one point like was holding Undertaker to the cell as Randy Orton could beat Undertaker up some. Yeah. Then eventually the Undertaker ended up getting busted open. Yeah. Yeah. Then yeah, then there was like at one point I think like at WrestleMania, Randy Orton countered the chokeslam into the RKO. Yeah, then as Cowboy Bob Orton like tried to get involved again, Undertaker then just kicked Cowboy Bob Orton from the inside of the cell, and then Cowboy Bob Orton ended up getting busted open I think from his eye. Yeah, yeah. Then at one point, like there was this point where like the Undertaker then like ended up like well Randy Orton I guess ended up splashing the Undertaker through a table. He won't yeah. Then at one point like uh the Undertaker ended up inadvertently nailing Nick Patrick, the referee, after Randy Orton ducked. Then it showed how Nick Patrick ended up getting busted open. I think he may have actually hit the cell. Well, because he got knocked out of the ring. I don't know if he actually did hit the cell when he fell out of the ring. That might have been how he got busted open. I'm not sure. Yeah, yeah. But then, yeah, then as referees then opened the cell door to tend to Nick Patrick, then Cowboy Bob Orton then got into the cell. Oh yeah. Then Undertaker then hit a last right onto Randy Orton, but Cowboy Bob Orton ended up breaking up the pin. And yeah, then uh, Cowboy Bob Orton came out with the urn. Yeah, but then Undertaker then attacked Cowboy Bob Orton. Randy Orton then countered a tombstone attempt by the Undertaker and actually tombstoned the Undertaker, but the Undertaker survived it. Yeah, and then eventually uh, uh, Cowboy Bob Orton tried to get involved again, but then Undertaker and uh, attacked Bob Orton again, and then the Undertaker hit both Randy Orton and Cowboy Bob Orton with the urn. Yeah, then tombstone both of them, and then after the tombstone on Randy Orton, then the Undertaker then was able to pin Randy Orton, and the Undertaker won. So by the way I talk about it, it may sound like the match was actually pretty exciting and fast paced, but it really wasn't. Like uh like I said, this match really did leave a lot to be desired. I mean, wouldn't you have expected with how much of bad blood there was between these two guys, despite how dumb it did get with the stuff that I talked about just a few minutes ago? You would have expected a lot more to really come out of this match. Like wouldn't you have expected them to actually be fighting on the outside of the cell, going to the top of it, fighting off of it, even Undertaker possibly chokeslamming Randy Orton through the top of the cell? Just you really would have expected a lot more out of this match. But yeah, what we really got, it just seemed like it was just a normal match with not really much of the story that we had gotten for the last several months since WrestleMania. So this match really did seem very underwhelming by Hell in a Cell standards, and given the story between these two, this match really did leave a lot to be desired. So this match really is still in the lower tiers of Hell in a Cell matches. It's not the worst. Like I said, it is a overall good, but just by Hell in a Cell standards and what you really would have expected from the match, it really left a lot to be desired, and was overall still pretty disappointing. Oh yeah, and I guess something else that this match has distinction for is that this was actually the last Hell in a Cell match to use the original 16-foot uh, uh, Hell in a Cell structure. This was the last Hell in a Cell match that used that the original 16-foot cell. Of course, in the next after this, was when the Hell in a Cell was changed to be even bigger. It was a 30-foot structure after this match. Yeah. So this match also does have the distinction of being the last one to use the original cell structure. Yeah. So for that match, I guess I would give it three and a quarter. All right. So So overall with the show, I guess I would give it probably uh gosh, I don't know what to give this. I mean, I guess I'll go 5 out of 10. I guess that's what I'll give uh the show overall. Like I said, this show really did leave a lot to be desired, and it was pretty me disappointing, and really did leave a lot to be desired. This really did seem like a pretty like a uh accurate representation of the SmackDown product during this time. Like I said, just this show really did not really give much to offer at all. Like I said, just like the stuff with JBL Matt Hardy was bad, and the Bobby Lashley match was bad, and yeah, and like I said, just a few of the matches were solid, but they really just didn't have anything memorable whatsoever. Yeah, and like I said, the Hell in a Cell just it was very underwhelming for a Hell in a Cell match, and really did leave a lot to be desired. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, just it does have the Booker T Benoit match, so yeah, that match is at least worth checking out. But yeah, everything else just I really don't think it is. So yeah, I think that this is a show that you can easily skip over and not really miss out on much. Even the Undertaker Randy Orton match, like I said, I mean it did end the feud. So if you just want to watch it for that sake, I guess it's fine. But yeah, it still is in the lower tiers of Hell in a Cell matches. So yeah, so that's my take on the show. All right, so yeah, so I guess that's all I really have to say about it. All right, so yeah, so this does it for my review of Armageddon 2005. I hope you guys did enjoy this review, yeah, and stay tuned because yeah, now up next, like I said before, now next up I'm gonna be kicking off my Christmas reviews for the year. Now with Christmas being in a couple weeks, so yeah, so I'll say what I'll be doing for Christmas this year in my next video. So stay tuned for that. All right, but yeah, but I hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.